Meeting to order. It is Wednesday, April 23rd, 2025, 10 a.m., and we're here on an ambulance service district update. And I will turn it over to Jimmy.
I think John's better at it, but yeah, I mean, mostly this last meeting we talked about budget stuff. So that was kind of the main focus was getting started on the budget year and finishing off this one in the right color.
Okay.
Did you want to set up a meeting? I don't know if that was a workshop.
Workshop
for May 6th was the day that was discussed.
Okay.
9 a.m.
Okay.
Preferably. Everybody that was able was going to try to show up.
I will be there.
To work on that. I mean, as far as busy and maintenance and all that kind of stuff, I don't know what kind of updates
Yeah.
I do have it, but
No,
maintenance was pretty routine.
Chief Miller.
Yes, everything's been pretty, I guess you could say status quo for the last month. Not a whole lot of everything maintenance-wise has been mostly routine maintenance, with the exception of maybe an air conditioner, to make sure we're ready to go for the summertime. So no changes there, but I think the biggest reminder of the less on the maintenance side is, one ambulance is pretty, a few months old, and the other one's maybe 2 years old, so still running pretty well, no major issues with either one. The reminder of the Horton that's about 2 years old, approaching 80,000 miles already just in 2 years, so we can, maybe 2.5, so we can see kind of the mileage chart of what those look like. Everything else in the fleet is as new as 2016 or older, with I think every one of those, I think the average on those is about 120 to 130,000 miles, kind of which one. So not a whole lot of maintenance. Evan, who is doing now our maintenance, is very timely, so there's been a lot of positives in that part, pretty well. So pretty pleased there. We did bring on additional, so we had 4 firefighters in medic school. They've all passed all their completed tests, whether it be written skills test and even national level tests. So they are, all 4 of them did pass, and so we'll be onboarding 4 new medics.
Okay.
So that's exciting news. We had 5 total, so with 4 more, we'll now have 9. So I think in June, the new medics will be working with seasoned medics, working on task books and precepting for about 1 month and maybe 3. And then once they complete all the assigned things that we have, then we'll start spreading out to where hopefully by July, August, we'll have a medic both in Kellogg and in Osborne.
Paramedic, right?
7 days a week, 365.
Okay, paramedic.
2 medics on a day, both on each side. We're currently kind of hit and miss. Today, for example, we had 1 medic and they're stationed in Osborne, so I had something critical in Pinehurst, and we had a big move and some logistical challenges, but something we're all used to, and everything's worked out pretty well.
Okay.
Other than that, really, we did have quite a bit of spontaneous 3rd and 4th out ambulances, but all were covered in a nice timely manner, so it's always nice to see those things happening. Other than that, not a whole lot that I know of update you on. With their tenure at the meeting, we'll remember something. I'm forgetting that.
Scott did bring up a grant that he has submitted.
Possible
Yes.
fund out in June. He did put in for another grant. I think it was 200,000, somewhere around there.
That would be for an ambulance.
So
we found out through the state.
ambulance.
We got an email kind of late in the game. I had contacted you guys for a letter of support for some equipment, and then literally I think a week before the grant closed, the state had additional funds for ambulances specifically only. So we're able to do both for equipment and an ambulance. Sometimes you have to pick and choose, but in this case, I guess it was surplus. I don't know all the details of that grant. Scott's the one that pushed it, but we did apply for 208,000.
I think it's 200 and something. Right around
for an ambulance,
208,
but also a letter for the equipment as well.
Yep.
Okay.
So should hear
So that's
hopefully in June here both.
Wrapped together.
Correct. It's 2 separate, but it's the same timetable.
Okay. The same. So it's 200,000 for equipment and ambulance.
Or it's 200. I think 208 for just an ambulance.
Yeah,
For just
the
an
ambulance.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't remember the equipment one, might have
I
been,
don't
my
think I
guess
brought
would be
that
30 or 40.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't remember that one.
So, two nice grants going out,
Yeah.
but again, those are the only big grant opportunities we get a year
Mm-hmm.
in the state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they've been somewhat kind to us lately, so.
Okay.
Other than that, that's all I can remember. If you all have any questions, comments, or concerns, pass along.
No, I'm encouraged about the grants, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good news.
Same way.
Late notice, but good news.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything further? Any other questions?
No?
Public comment?
Yeah, I do. The 5 people, didn't you say 5? We were bringing them in.
We currently have 5 medics, and we just have 4 students to complete and pass.
So you're the same amount of people as what you started the budget year off with?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's all.
And one of those students, there were 3 that went in the same class together this past year, and one of the 4 had started maybe 9 months to a year prior. He's just in a different program, it was a lot longer process.
Okay. Anything further? Anything further? We're adjourned. Thank you.